Now this is the one bit that they do say is satisfying. Oh, there. Channel, James has decided that he wants a change in the rubber. He's using 05FX on both sides. He's fancying something different on the forehand, so what he's going to try is a bit of Hurricane 8. Hurricane 8, 40 degrees, 2.15 black. This is your FX05. It's very bouncy stuff and quite difficult to control in my opinion, but anyway, it's going to be James's problem. Let's get this on the bat and let's give it a go. It's not a re-gluing, but you might as well see.
So do all sheets come like this? Is this standard?
No, vacuum. Not all of them are vacuum packed. But for some reason Hurricane seems to do that, which is good because keeps the oxygen away from the rubber and looks after it. All of them come with this peel off sheet. Yeah.
Alright.
And again, if you look on the barcode, 2.15, 40 degrees rubber. So this is like a medium hard. There is a softer version of this, but it's where you want to be, in my opinion. So just to show that there, Tenergy 05FX, that's what's coming off. See what the state of the blade is. No damage on there at all. Right.
You know when you change the rubbers, you know when you peel them off?
Yeah.
Do you not find it oddly satisfying?
I've never thought of it. I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
I dare say, putting new stuff on, it's part of table tennis, is changing rubbers and things like that and trying new things and looking for that magic thing that is there. But you know, you're not. It can make you worse, but you've got to work hard to make it better. But like I said, it's part of the hobby, isn't it? Messing around with these kind of things. Right, what we've got to make sure is there's no, I'll just put that on one side now, that there's no residue rubber left on the bat itself. And you can use these little snotty things, you can buy these, they look like knitted elastic bands. It does feel very like a rubber, you know. It is.
So is that what it is? It's like a rubber?
It must be a rubber. It is literally feels like elastic bands that have been moulded into shape, but they are actually really good. If you use your fingers and you try and get it off with your fingers, you just wear the skin off your fingers. But this stuff gets it off. The bat's actually in really good nick. Right, there's a thing people will go on about is how many layers of glue do you use? For me, 1 on the bat, 2 on the rubber is enough, and I've never had them come off.
Why 2 on the rubber?
Because this is quite dense rubber. You can see a dense sponge. If it's really soft sponge, the glue will soak in.
Right.
And then what you don't get, you know, it's sort of like, you don't want pockets where it's not glued. So put 1 on, let it dry, put another 1 on, and you know you've got a good bond. Right, I've forgotten my sponge, but with magic we can get some now. There you go. What I need is just a little section of sponge. Will do the job of treats. It's 1 layer on the bat, 2 on a sponge. So your best bet is, oh, by the way, make sure that the writing's on the right way around. Or I do it on the top of your bat. Give you glue shape. The stuff that I use, it's from Custom Table Tennis, and it does the job of treat. I haven't had any problem with it. A few dots on.
So how long does this stuff take to dry?
You can do it with a hairdryer. to speed it up, but it takes about 10 minutes. It depends on the conditions you're doing it in, I suppose, but it's only 10 minutes. And what you do is you leave it till it goes clear. And the idea is to make sure that it's nice and even. You don't want blobs and different consistencies, because it will make a difference to the rubber itself. It really isn't difficult. What you have to do is, there's no point swapping and changing. You've really got to get used to something. So if you're thinking, oh, you know, for a fortnight I'm going to try this, unless it's absolutely pants, you know, then you're only looking. You've got to have sort of to industry standard. You've got to have something to go from now.
A baseline. You've got to have
a baseline. Like for you, it's going to be that 05FX. You'll go, I like this better, or I like it worse. What do I like about 05 that I don't like about this? Or is this just amazing and everything's better? Then you're going in the right direction. Then if you think, well, I could just a little bit of this, but then you try something else, is it going to be worse than 08? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, sorry,
like you say,
Hurricane 8.
you can. It's the same with anything. Is that you've got to have something to start with, and then you either improve or like it, or you don't like it. In which case, you got to go back to the start. I mean,
absolutely. But the hobby, if you like, especially when you're enjoying the game, the pros obviously if they're sponsored, which they are, then they use whatever it is that they're sponsored by, and by doing that, they can play with anything anyway. You know, but they might have a preference, a personal preference, but they'll go, no, I can play with that, and they get used to it. Whatever it might be slightly lacking in something, they just get better at doing that. You know, it's one of them. You won't hear a professional really moaning about rubber.
So price-wise, how much is that?
This was, from where I got it, it ranges from about 37 to 47 quid. Just depends on where you're buying it.
Yeah. And what about the one that came off?
Those are round about 60 odd quid.
Yeah.
So that is actually cheaper than this is. I do think with Butterfly though, is because of their advertising, they advertise everything, then you are paying a little bit of a premium for that. Whether the rubber's any better or not, it's just what everyone uses. Why? Because it's marketed well. You've got to find out whether it's any good for you or not. No.
So do they always come in this shape as well?
Yeah.
Oh, they do. So you have to cut it into that.
Yeah, because bats vary in sizes. They don't vary much. Well, actually, if it was a defensive penhold bat, they have a much bigger face on the bat. So in that particular case, yeah. And usually you can swap and change, or certainly to try a different rubber, you can take one off one bat and put it on another one. If it was in competition or anything, it has to cover the whole bat, and it's not allowed any more than a couple of millimeters overhang on the bat.
Right.
And even then they're not happy with it. But if you're a disabled player and you have a tendency to use your body to move yourself, then they allow a little bit extra on the edges of the bat, for the fact that they are touching the table and stuff, and they'll wear the edges of the bat out. So there is a little bit of leniency on that, but otherwise it has to be in good nick, and the tests that they do at the top end are very thorough. There's no doubt about that.
So we'll just wait for this to dry now.
Yep.
And then get second coat on that and one on that. Put it together and that's it.
Yep. That's my big industrial hairdryer. Clear and even, no white spots on it. Carefully move that over. You leave the film on the other side unless you're boosting.
Unless you boost it?
Yeah, if you're boosting, you take it off.
Oh. Is that so it doesn't mushroom or something?
Yeah, because the rubber needs to stretch with the foam.
With the foam, right.
But for this purposes, you don't want anything on the actual rubber itself, so you leave that on. It's not doing any harm. Right, so back time. It only has to be a thin layer as well. Don't go throwing loads on. It just has to be an even layer. The bat we're using as well is Yini Pro Feeling. Just if anyone's interested.
Can you still buy them?
Yeah, you can, yeah. which is looking right. So put that to one side. If you put too much of this on, just get a bit of anything and just wipe it off. Don't sort of like think, oh no, I'll keep going with it. A good thing to do as well is varnish your bat with the right stuff.
Varnish it?
Yeah, so the surface, so that it protects the wood, otherwise the glue can pull the fibres out of the bat as well. So it's always a good thing when you buy a new one, or if you buy it from like custom table tennis, they'll do that anyway for you. Make sure I don't throw this across the room. And that's cleared up on it. Put the bat so that the handle's sitting over so that it's flat. You don't want it like this. You want to make sure it's nice and flat. Turn it over. Nice and square.
Right into the bottom.
Right into the bottom. Make sure that you don't get anything anywhere else. Get the missus's rolling pin. Now, one thing you don't do with this is put loads of pressure on. You're not trying to stretch the rubber or the foam underneath, because you will affect it. So all you're doing is just making sure that it goes on flat. I'm using me scruffy old Stanley with a brand new blade in. You can use a scalpel or anything like that. A good set of sharp scissors will do the job for you as well. But for me, there we go. And that's off. Now I can leave that on just for the set.
I didn't see that it was a thing there. I thought there was a bit missing.
Just calm down. Your bat, I don't care. Edge tape saves the bat.
It's not compulsory though, is it?
No.
I was going to say, watching the Olympics, a lot of them don't have edge tape on their bats.
Yeah,
probably because they're swapping rubbers all the time, is it?
Because they can't be bothered to put it on.
Yeah, right.
Now this is the one bit that they do say is satisfying.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nice new one.
Nice new
one.
one.
Let's try the bounce.
Yep. Here's about that.
Oh there. So, and that's Chinese sticky rubber.
Sticky rubber.
We like sticky rubber.
That's dead, isn't it? Oh.
Yep. No, I can't spin a ball. What do you think? First impression.
First impression that I can feel the ball a lot more through the bat.
Yeah.
Than I could with the other one.
Yeah, because it's a lot harder rubber.
Yeah. So I
Saying that at 40s, it's not.
I can feel like I do need to put a bit more power into it to actually get it over than I do with, say, the other end, where I can literally just put it in a way. I need to put a bit more.
But I started with the 05s.
Yeah.
Top end bat. I thought I'd buy myself as much success as I could, and all it did was absolutely spoil everything I was doing. I couldn't control it, couldn't feel what was going on, and then you go the other way. But then it's an expensive lesson and you learn it. And I think that's one of the big things everyone's looking for is advice in well, is that going to be any good?
Can you buy success? Well,
no.
Like you've always said, is that the top player in the world would beat your 200 quid back with a sitter.
Yeah.
You know, there's the level of skill. You know, if you're going to spend money on something, shoot it. You know,
Get a good coach.
get a good coach. Yeah.
That'll be going in the dust.
Yeah.
That's the only thing with these sticky rubbers is you've got to
Keep it clean.
keep them clean. That's that crack sound.
That ping noise.
That's what they're. Right, well there you go. Not the same as 05FX in any way, shape or form, but James does like it and he's happy to carry on with that one. He's getting more balls on the table than he was before, which is always a bonus. See you on the next one. Ta-ra!